In the cold seas of northern Europe, where the sea breeze blows and the waves beat against the ship like a constant punch, the giant king crab and snow crab fishing boats work tirelessly. This is one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, where harsh weather, freezing water and the ferocity of the ocean can take the lives of fishermen at any time. However, the rewards lie deep below the seabed: bright red king crabs weighing up to 10 kilograms and snow crabs with long, sharp claws that make thousands of fishermen ready to set out every fishing season. The journey begins in ports in Norway, Iceland or Russia, where fishing boats tens of meters long are loaded with hundreds of special steel cages called pots. These cages are designed to be extremely sturdy, cylindrical or box-shaped, inside which are baited herring, cod or squid to attract crabs to crawl in. Once the ship reaches the licensed waters, usually in the Barents Sea, Barents Sea or the Arctic Circle, the fishermen begin to lower hundreds of cages to the seabed. Each cage is attached with a buoy and a rope hundreds of meters long to mark it and pull it up after a few days. Lowering the cages is just the beginning. The biggest challenge is when the cages are retrieved. Each cage weighs hundreds of kilograms and is pulled from the cold seabed by a hydraulic crane onto the deck. When the cages are lifted, the scene inside is astonishing: dozens of giant crabs crowded together, claws raised and struggling, many so large that there is no room left in the cage. The fishermen, wearing thick waterproof jackets and rubber gloves, rush to sort the crabs right on the deck amid the icy rain and high waves. Crabs that meet the standard size are kept, while those that are too small or carrying eggs are released back into the sea to protect the natural population. Unlike fish or shrimp, king crab and snow crab require special storage to maintain maximum freshness. On board, a system of circulating cold seawater tanks is used to keep the crabs alive until they reach port. Some larger ships also have a flash freezing system. The crabs are slaughtered. Cleaned and frozen at -40 degrees Celsius in just a few minutes, ensuring the meat remains sweet, firm and not dehydrated. Behind every crab leg sold in high-end supermarkets is an arduous and adventurous journey of the men who stick to the sea. They not only fight nature, but also need to understand the seasonal migration habits of crabs. The technique of placing cages according to the current, even calculating the time of the moon affecting the tides, all to ensure each trip to sea brings in millions of the highest quality crabs. European crab boats often spend weeks, sometimes months at sea, without phone reception, just the sound of wind, engines and the clanking of chains and steel hooks. It is a world where only the brave, the strong and the truly sea-loving can survive. And when they return to port with their holds full of crabs, they not only bring back valuable assets, but also a testament to the enduring spirit of those who own the sea. After a long journey at sea, the crab boats are quickly received by the unloading team. The crates of live crabs are taken straight to cold storage or onto specialized trucks for transport to seafood processing plants. For the crabs that have been frozen directly on board, Refrigerated containers are waiting to be transported across Europe and the world. From high-end restaurants in Paris to seafood supermarkets in Tokyo or New York. At the factory, the crabs are washed again. The legs are trimmed. The shells are peeled. And each batch is quality checked before being packaged. The best meat from the king crab claws or snow crab legs will be vacuum sealed or metal cans according to international standards, ensuring maximum freshness and food safety. Each crab part is then labeled with its origin, clearly stating which sea area it came from, which boat caught it, and which day, as a certificate of commitment to quality and transparency. But behind the success of this industry is the effort to protect marine resources in a sustainable way. European countries, especially Norway, Russia and Iceland, have strict management systems on the number of licensed vessels. Fishing areas, clear seasons and the minimum size of crabs allowed to be harvested. Each fishing vessel must keep a logbook, report daily catches and be subject to random inspections by the Coast Guard. If a vessel is found to be catching small crabs or falsifying quantities, the penalties can be severe, from the revocation of a license to a fine of hundreds of thousands of euros. Some vessels are also involved in biological research programs, working with marine scientists to tag crabs, monitor migration and spawning behavior to better understand the life cycles and population dynamics of king and snow crabs. The combination of modern technology, traditional knowledge and environmental responsibility has helped the industry. Crab fishing in Europe has maintained a stable fishery resource for decades. Under the fragile ice of the North Sea, where temperatures can drop to -30 degrees Celsius, is another world that few people see, where people still silently persevere with their dangerous but also proud work. The steel cages lying quietly on the seabed, the men stretching on the deck in the snowstorm, and each giant crab being pulled up, all create a vivid picture of the courage and strong attachment between humans and the sea. They are warriors without guns, only ropes, gloves and iron cages. But they have fought the waves, the cold, and time to bring back wonderful gifts from the deep ocean. Each luxurious feast with steamed crab in a high-class restaurant is a worthy reward for the sweat. Effort and courage of European fishermen who have dared to go to the ends of the world to conquer the sea. In the rare moments between fishing trips, when the boat drifts silently in the northern night, the fishermen often sit together in the small, warm cabin, sharing hot coffee and recounting strange stories of their experiences at sea. There are times when the crab cages get stuck under thick ice, and the fishermen have to wade for hours in the cold water to free them. There are times when killer whales lurk around the cage area, destroying the tow rope just to get a few crabs stuck. There are times when the boat is caught in a fierce blizzard. Visibility is almost zero. But the captain still decides to continue the journey, knowing that ahead is a golden spot full of king crabs. It is not just a job, but a way of life, where each man must learn to read the ocean, predict the weather, determine the currents and even intuitively sense where the crabs will appear. These skills are not found in books but are passed down from generation to generation, father to son. grandfather to grandson. On board, new crew members must learn to respect the sea, understand the laws of nature, and never be complacent. A moment of carelessness can cost a life. As time went on, modern technology was gradually brought onto the ship: radar to find the seabed, GPS to accurately locate the cage, sensors to monitor water temperature, and cameras mounted under the cage to observe crabs crawling in. But no matter how advanced the technology is, human power is still the decisive factor. Arms pulling the rope continuously for hours, eyes watching the buoys in the fog, and the will not to give up when strong winds arise. That is the real strength that helps the ships bring millions of crabs back to port. Many outsiders will see crab fishing as a lucrative industry, but not everyone understands the price to pay. Many fishermen have accidents because the rope gets tangled around their feet. They slip on the icy deck. Or their hands get caught when pulling the cage. It is not uncommon for fishing families to suffer the loss of a father, husband or son after a trip to sea. Every crab season, relatives wait anxiously, looking out at the misty horizon hoping to see the familiar silhouette of a ship appear on the horizon. Yet, despite the dangers, every year thousands of fishermen continue to set out. They know the risks, but their love of the sea, their pride in their profession, and their desire to bring the world the best seafood are ingrained in their blood, in their eyes. A king crab is more than just food, it is the result of perseverance, courage and sacrifice. From cages deep in the cold darkness of the ocean to brightly lit banquet tables in big cities, the journey of king crabs and snow crabs is a magical story. And at the center of that story are the ordinary people, the European fishermen. The warriors of the sea, silent but resilient, working day and night in the harsh nature to feed the world with their own sweat and courage. During the peak season, when the temperature at sea is only a few degrees below zero, the fisherman's schedule has almost no time to rest. The work shift lasts 16 to 20 hours a day. Each person has a certain position: the cage dropper, the crane operator, the crab sorter, the data recorder, the custodian. All work together in harmony like a living machine. Under the flickering yellow lights on the deck, in the howling wind and the metallic sound of the pull rope, each heavy cage is pulled up, revealing a bright red treasure: king crabs with their claws raised fiercely, crowded together in a cold steel frame. Veteran fishermen always remind each other to observe each crab carefully. Only adult male crabs are kept. Female crabs and juvenile crabs are released immediately into the sea. This is a strict rule to maintain the ability of the population to reproduce. These small actions are the difference between a sustainable fishery and one that simply exploits to the point of exhaustion. Fishermen know that if they are greedy today, then a few years later they will be the ones returning empty-handed. In addition to the harsh natural factors, competition between ships is also part of the game. The ship that reaches the crab-rich area first will get a large catch. and can complete the trip earlier, saving fuel and costs. Therefore, in the early days of the season, ships often race to leave port at dawn, even before the sea is completely calm. Experienced captains often have their own secret. It could be a coordinate that has hit big in the past, a sense of the direction of the cold water current, or even a crack in the sea floor where crabs like to hide. In areas such as the sea off Norway, the Barents Sea, or the area between Russia and the Arctic, waves can be up to 8 to 10 meters high, and the sea temperature is always close to freezing. Many fishermen have said that the feeling of putting their hands in the cold water to remove crabs from the cage only lasts a few minutes, but it is enough to make their hands numb for the whole day. Yet they persevere, repeating it hundreds of times every day, like a never-ending cycle. Each successful crab fishing trip can earn hundreds of thousands of dollars, but in return, there are many sleepless nights. Many times slipping on the frozen deck, and many worries hanging in the middle of the vast ocean. At the end of each season, when the boats return and work is temporarily suspended, many fishermen choose to live quietly by the harbor, repairing cages, mending nets, checking engines. Some return to their families after months away. Others begin preparing for the next fishing season. Although the time of rest is short, it is always filled with emotions. That is when they see the true value of sacrifice and hardship at sea.